What's going on, guys? MerfsYT13 here, and we are back for another match of the week in my Raw review. Raw kicked off this week with a nice tribute to Roddy Piper, who, as you all know, passed away this past week. He was an icon, a legend, and a Hall of Famer. I will never ever claim to be a Piper fanatic, or even a real fan for that matter, but that doesn't mean I don't admire his career. He was one of the most passionate talkers ever, and one of the best talkers ever in the industry, and he was a huge influence for many of the guys that we see on TV today. So rest in peace, Roddy. It was a shame, and it's not a great way to start considering we lost Dusty Rhodes recently as well, so it's always a shame when that sort of thing happens. Anyway, after the Piper tribute, we got Seth Medal, and the WWE champion came down. The WWE choosing to continue with the promo to open the show. This one was actually pretty good though. We got a very, very smug Seth Rollins wearing a Never Shuts Up t-shirt, a very John Cena-esque t-shirt, and was claiming that he was too sympathetic to John Cena after shattering John Cena's nose, which was horrendous, and he described it, and that was horrendous as well. And he said that he got caught in the submission, and that was on him, and basically out of self-preservation he tapped out. I think this was a really smart way to play it off as, you know, as him, as it's still being about him and not the fact that he got beaten fair and square. He then issued a challenge to John Cena. I think we all saw this coming for SummerSlam, title versus title. I did, however, like this, that Seth, he got really passionate, and the fact that it's him calling out Cena makes it more legitimate. And for once, he isn't running from the fight, and he's challenging for the fight. So I thought that was a really cool way to do it. I like that Cena didn't return after a week and say, I want you, you know, I want to prove that I can beat you and all this sort of thing, even though he has. We all know the Cena shtick. We came back from a commercial though, and JoJo was in the ring. I thought this was really strange. She asked Seth if his challenge is legitimate. I was wondering why, as I think most of us would have been wondering why, but we found out it's just so Seth could lay down the stipulations for his challenger. It says that he can't be taller than 6 foot, and he can't weigh more than 200 pounds. So everyone assumes that it's El Torito. JoJo, I think, said it as well, that El Torito would be up against the champ, but Neville's music played, and I got pretty excited because I know these two can really put on a great match. So to start off Raw, we got Neville versus Rollins, and you'll never ever hear me complain about that. This match was friggin' awesome. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. Go out of your way to watch it. It was really great. It was a great showcase for Neville, and they had a kick-ass match, as you would expect, because these guys are awesome. And Seth eventually won, which is fine, and everybody, if I hear one person say, oh, they're burying Neville, they can go and kiss my ass, because this match was unreal. It made Neville look like a star as well, and now he's gotten close to John Cena, and he's gotten close to Seth Rollins, so I would like to see them play on that down the road after all this Stardust business is done. Seth eventually won. The crowd was really into it. Great way to get Seth a quality win and make Neville seem like a genuine threat to the title. And I thought straight off the bat this show was off to a flyer. I enjoyed the promo, even though it happens every single week, and it led to a really, really good match, and it led to Rollins looking strong, which is always a good thing. Up next we had New Day and Ascension versus Los Matadores and the Lucha Dragons, and the PTP were on commentary by popular demand again, and they did an awesome job again. It wasn't a particularly standout match, but it had some cool spots, and as you would expect from multiple man matches like this, there was a bit of a cluster. I think each team got good offense in, and you know, they didn't have a lot of time, but with the time they had, I thought it was good. I'm all for multiple dives outside. New Day got the win, hopefully putting them in line for a tag title match at SummerSlam. I don't want them to make it too easy on New Day though. Keep having them run through things like this and really earning it would make it for a better chase of the title, I think. I wouldn't mind seeing primetime players in action a little bit more though, because I am all for champions defending their titles. But I digress. After that, we got the Bellas versus Becky and Charlotte. We found out on the show that Paige's team with Becky and Charlotte is called the Submission Sorority. I really don't know why they insist on naming the groups. I don't know why everybody has to have a name. Why can't they just be individuals that get along? You know, like keep their identity instead of putting them in the same shirt. I don't understand why they have to do that. But I guess it's all just to sell t-shirts. It's all merchandising. This match was pretty good. The girls are working really hard, and I think that really shows. You can see that they're giving them time, and the girls are trying to take advantage of that. They've got my interest, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens at SummerSlam. I really don't know what to expect at SummerSlam. Who's going to wrestle for the title. It's looking a little bit like Charlotte and maybe Sasha Banks. It might be a triple threat match. Charlotte got the win in this particular match with the figure 8. And I think putting an emphasis on the finishing moves is good. Yeah, and the girls are winning. So the new girls are winning, that is. So that's good to get them over. You've got a win. It's not really a revolution. It's not really taking the WWE by storm. All they've really done is just give them a little bit more time, but they give them a bit more time in the same spots on the show every week. So they're not really advancing them. I think, you know, if you really want a revolution, let's headline a special event with a Divas title match or something like that. If you really want to change it up. We then came to Miz TV with Kevin Owens and Cesaro. Miz kicked the segment off with a tribute to Roddy Piper, which was I guess he's actually a heel Miz, but this was quite a face thing to do. It supersedes, when there's a death in wrestling, it supersedes everything, and I thought that was a really nice touch, because he said without Piper's Pit there wouldn't be Miz TV, and he's exactly right. And Miz, I have no doubt, has tried to emulate Roddy Piper in the past. I really like this segment. It's good for building the rivalry between Owens and Cesaro. Owens said that Cesaro is jealous because he's done more in 3 months than he has in 3 years, which is actually true. And Cesaro changed Owens' catchphrase to "Walk Owens Walk," which is a really good nod to Owens walking away from all of his fights, which I thought is a little bit strange, so it's good that Cesaro is going to use that against him. Cesaro, he always makes me nervous when he's on the mic, but I thought he was great. I thought he was great here. I think we could have ourselves a little bit of a show stealer at SummerSlam between these two. These two can really go, and they've wrestled each other so many times on the indies, and they will tear the house down if they're given 10 to 15 minutes on SummerSlam, which with a 4-hour show is every chance. I honestly hope they open the show with Cesaro and Owens and get that hot crowd behind him, and get a fresh crowd behind them, and they will just absolutely tear it down, and they'll walk backstage and say, "You follow that, boys." After that, we got Mark Henry versus Rusev, and this was a late squash match. I was pretty surprised by that. Henry was pretty good as a punching bag, but I reckon it helps Rusev. It makes him look more dominant, and I'm glad they've ditched the comedy for this show in particular and made Rusev look like a legit killer again, because that's what he is. That's what he actually looks like, and hopefully it continues, because a dominant Rusev, I reckon, will make for a better opponent for the underdog Dolph Ziggler when he eventually comes back for his revenge. Up next, what was it? It was King Barrett versus Zack Ryder. Oh man, who cares? Do you care? I don't care. I don't know what they have in store for Barrett, and I don't think they know either. He's the definition of lost, and at the moment I know it's not his fault, but he's got everything you need. He's got the size, he's got everything, he's got the look, he's a good wrestler. Would you say a great wrestler? I wouldn't say a great wrestler, he's a good wrestler. But they've gone with the stereotypical, oh, he's British, what should we do with him? Let's make him a king. It's not creative, it's dumb. So, actually, this could be the question of the week. Who could we put Barrett up against? It doesn't look like he has any clear opponent. They just throw him in that death spot before the main event, or before the best segment of the night, which came up after this. How would we resurrect Barrett? Do we resurrect him, or do we arsehole him? Do we get rid of him? Do you think he has potential? Let me know in the comments. I'll put a proper comment down there. I'm rambling at the moment. So we then came to the best segment of the night, bar none, and it's my man, Paul Heyman. Heyman was on fucking fire in this promo. Do I need to say it again? I will. He's the greatest of all time. If you haven't seen it, go and watch this promo. This promo should be on a constant loop at the Performance Center for all of the rookies to watch. He plugged up all of the plot holes as to why The Undertaker didn't wrestle Lesnar at WrestleMania. He added in that it's Vince's fault that Undertaker didn't wrestle at WrestleMania. It was brilliant. The guy is a genius. He could literally sell wool to a sheep. It was absolutely amazing. And now we just have to wait for the dead man to respond. But I want promos from him. I don't want the light show. I don't want the lightning from the roof. I just want words. Or even action. Have The Undertaker come back before SummerSlam and whip Lesnar's ass or something. Have another pull apart. So after the promo from Heyman, we had to come down, and Paige and Naomi were the unlucky ones to have to come out after that Heyman promo. Naomi called Paige out earlier in the night, so we got this match as a result. Paige, she won an okay match with the PTO. Of course, she won with her submission. Nothing to really harp on there. It was okay, and the Divas seem to be getting the same exact spots on Raw every single week. But anyway, we then went to the main event. Now this was a really cool match. 6-man tag matches are in the absolute optimum zone for 4 out of 6 of these guys. Even all of them, really. We saw Sheamus team with Bray and Harper against Ambrose, Reigns and Orton. 6 friggin' great wrestlers, and this was a great match. It's a really great way to close a show with multiple finishes and multiple drop kicks from Roman Reigns, including on the announce table, which I thought was really cool. It was a really entertaining match, and the crowd loved every second of it. It's not often these days that you see a crowd so up for the main event after sitting there for almost 4 hours while Raw was being taped. It was a really fun way to end the show, and the babyface is getting the win, and they were standing tall. Fantastic. And then they cut backstage, and we see Stone Cold sitting with Paige. Every time Austin is on my TV, I get excited because he is the man. He's my favourite wrestler of all time. But overall, I thought it was a good, fun, really wrestling-heavy show, which is good. And it shows that when the WWE wants, they can really put on a decent 3-hour show that doesn't feel like it drags. Because, man, it's almost a chore sometimes when Raw gets off to a flat start and you're sitting there and you don't know what to do with yourself. But no, overall, I thought Raw was a really, really good show this week. It kept my interest for 3 hours, which is hard to do sometimes. But that'll do it. I'm yet to watch the Stone Cold podcast with Paige. I might actually just go and do that right now, actually. So let me know your thoughts on Raw in the comments. Check out the question of the week down there as well. Be sure to drop a like if you have in fact liked this video. You could actually physically like it by hitting that thumb. Subscribe for more Raw reviews, and as always, for MurphsYT13, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.